Good day, rescue enjoyers. So I did warn you, I am away, and I'm using the equipment that I have. Not the best, not what I normally have. I do apologise, but yeah, I'm going to try my best. We're going to try and get through this fairly quickly. So let's just get started. We'll skip the intro. Good day, everybody. How you doing? So here's the first 24 hours of sales. As you can see here on my Twitter, and well, Sinotype Stone has sold significantly less compared to previous Sinotype skins. Like just a nice quick, comparison with the previous week with the Sinotype Wood. Sinotype Wood had 4,000 more, and yet last week even we were surprised with what that had. Back over to here, Sinotype Stone. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, perhaps a stone storage is going to be a lot less in demand compared to most other skins. Basically, we did talk about this with the rust rotation and the predictions video. The other stone storages from previous storage collections, they've barely moved. Like, yeah, they're in the positive, but like only up by like 50 cents. That's it. So, okay. Most likely due to a sheer lack of interest. Alright, well, fair enough. Moving on. Protector Handmade LMG has like next to nothing. Again, comparing to the previous week. The first ever Handmade LMG skin, of course, being the No Mercy Handmade LMG, 17,000 subscribers. Ended up doing, almost 35,000 subscribers? Well, I mean, I don't think there's any interest in Handmade LMG skins. Only 8,000 subscribers. And of course, we do expect another one to be accepted next week and the week after that as well. So, okay, well, I mean, we'll just have to see how that turns out. But surprisingly, not that much. Now, looking at the small ammo box, that has also sold less compared to the previous week, the T-Box. And the T-Box was very close to becoming the lowest selling skin of all the small props collections. So, alright, well, I mean, that's also looking pretty interesting. Like, overall, the expectation of, I thought this was going to be a quieter rust door. Not too many things were super interesting. Not that many people were super thrilled. Not that many people like super enthusiastic. If you saw my rust rotation video, the first 2 minutes, you'd have heard me like not being very happy. So yeah, okay. Point made. First 24 hours of sales. It really does give the indication that these skins won't be selling that much, and it's going to be a fairly quiet week. So all right, cool. Let's now go ahead and look at all the skins based on the first 48 hours of sales. And here we are. Let me just refresh as well, just to be sure. Yep, only slightly a little bit higher. Okay. Sinotype Stone with just about 16,000 subscribers, followed by the Protector Handmade LMG with about 11,700 subscribers. So, okay, fair enough. It's a quiet week. Yep. I should point out I'm like 2 hours later compared to since the rust rotated, so it's actually like 50 hours since the rust rotated, but still the point remains, not that many sales, quiet week. Alright, well, maybe, look at it in a positive way. If these skins do get like a renewed interest in the future, all the better for them to rise up in price in the future, because there's going to be only so many of them to go around. Look at it in a positive way. Okay, maybe there is some interesting opportunity here. Like, take for example, Cargo Heli Roadsign Boots and Gloves. They are selling next to nothing. And if we do actually see, like, Cargo Heli Tier 3 or hoodie and pants being made and accepted, those boots and gloves are looking very appealing. Keep an eye on the workshop over the course of this weekend, yeah? Right, so shall we go through all these skins now and figure out, how much are each of them likely going to sell by next Thursday? And then knowing that, will these skins, potentially be some interesting investments or not? So, let's switch back over to here. Right. Only 11,500 subscribers. It is a Sinotype skin though. Maybe a lot of people might jump in at the very end. What could we compare to? Well, I mean, I thought the best thing to compare to was the small cards box and the Olympus AK-47 from quite some time back. So let's go ahead and do just that. So, okay, what week was that? I think it's all the way over to here. Yes, there you go. We can see that the Olympus AK-47 did just under 24,000 subscribers. We can see the small cards box did just under 23,000 subscribers. So, my solid answer to you would be that I honestly think Sinotype Stone will probably do between 23 to 26,000 subscribers. Now, again, I did point this out already. The Stone box most likely, it'll most likely be the least in demand compared to all the other Sinotype skins. Now, with a lot less sales compared to the rest of them, maybe it might make it a little bit more interesting, but unfortunately, I'm not feeling super convinced. So, okay. Next up, Protector Handmade LMG. So we've already made a big fuss talking about how this has had significantly less sales compared to the previous one. This is number 2 in terms of how many handmade LMG skins do we have that actually exist in Rust? Just 2. So okay, well, doesn't have like any interesting features or anything. Like it doesn't glow, doesn't have like transparent aim sight or anything. So okay, fair enough. What's a good thing that we could compare to? Let's quickly switch back over to here. So just about 8,000 subscribers. I thought, you know what? If I was to look around, perhaps the best thing I could probably compare to is like the full AK-47 and the small T-box from the previous week. So, alright, fair enough. Let's go ahead and do just that. So, previous week, pretty pleased. And what do we see? Well, of course, this did just under 16,000 subscribers. And the full AK-47, that went all the way up to just over 18,000 subscribers. So I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe this is most likely to do between 16 to 18,000 subscribers. So, okay, cool. Well, we also still have the question of how often do you even use a handmade NMG? When I did the rust rotation video, when I did the predictions video, I was like, oh, hang on a minute, okay, that might be a bit of a concern. If you don't use the weapon enough, where's the justification to own skins? Well, there you go, there's your answer. So, okay, at the very least, the Protector handmade NMG, it is abnormal, okay? Next Wednesday, we'll look at all the sales, and we'll then question, you know what, maybe we could offer this or that, but it definitely looks like we might just go with a low ball buy order. That seems to be the case. So, okay, fair enough. We'll do that. Next two skins I want to discuss is the Forge Garage Door. Now, actually, no, you know what? Free. In fact, yeah, if I could just quickly switch back over to here. So with the Forge Garage Door, small ammo box, and the Black Diamond L96, doing fairly reasonably similar sales. 6,850 here, 7,400 up to here. This is like 7,200. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it works. Okay, what would we compare to? So, okay, if I could go to like a previous rust door, make a, kind of question things. Maybe not here. Maybe I could compare to the dumb race car bed. Maybe, I mean, yeah, go on then. Dumb race car bed. Let's go do that. So, if I could just quickly switch over to here now, let's go to Rust Help. This is a little bit more precise with the total sales, total subscriber counts. So, dumb race car bed, pretty please. And what do we see? 14,866 subscribers, so about almost 15,000. And it's actually doing a pretty decent job retaining its price. So, I think I'm going to suggest 14 to 16,000 subscribers for these three skins over to here. With the Forge Garage Door most likely doing about 16,000 subscribers, and the Black Diamond L96 more likely doing about 14,000 subscribers. Now, in regards to the Garage Door, I've already had a big discussion about this in the Rust Rotation video. That is number 35 in total for 2025. We've already got a record-breaking amount of Garage Doors this year, and we still have like several Rust Doors to go, including Christmas. So I'm sorry to say, I just can't help but assume it's going to end up behaving the exact same way like most of these Garage Doors here. Neon Lunar Garage Door has actually managed to perk itself up a little bit. It's now back up into the positive ever so slightly. Mystic Tree Garage Door always was in the positive. And I would also like to just point out, Popstar Garage Doors, that's actually gained a little bit. So, alright, cool. But yes, the vast majority of these are down by at least a third or off about half its price. So, Forge Garage Door, unless I see signs of like an interesting collection being built up on the workshop over the course of this weekend, I'm having doubts. Does look good though. It's very bright at night time. It does glow in the dark very nicely, even when rolled up. So, maybe there could be some love, some interest, but I'm still having question, like doubts and all that, so I'm sorry to say. Right, next thing to discuss, of course, is the small ammo box. This small props collection is progressing very nicely. We have got a sulfur box currently on the workshop, and we're expecting another one over the course of this, next couple of days. But just like to point out, small cards box only slightly down in price. Small diesel box only slightly down in price. Small fuel box down by 21%. Small meds box down by 21%. Small tea box holding up very, very nicely. Diving box also holding up very nicely as well. Yeah, the collection is progressing. We're now expecting that this potentially could have between 15 to 18 skins in total, like a full-fledged proper storage collection of the past. Neon storages, graffiti storages, you get the idea. So, okay, looking forward to more. We've had some suggestions, like weapon attachments box and all that, so there's still plenty more interesting, unique ideas that could be worked on. But with this small ammo box selling quite considerably less compared to what we saw with the small T box, this does look like it could end up being the lowest selling skin out of the whole set so far. And of course, the leader is currently the small diving box with 15,423. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens, but it does look like that's going to be the case. And if the collection does progress ever so nicely, will it work out? I mean, feel free to offer your opinion. Feel free to comment below. And then we've got the Black Diamond L96. Kind of catching up to the small ammo box. This is losing, like, its position. This is gaining traction. So, okay, cool. Black Diamond collection, we've already had like a big discussion saying how some of the skins here are doing very nicely at the moment, even though we've just gone through October, the worst part of the year where we see most skins drop off real bad. That Black Diamond's done quite alright. Now, we only have one one weapon skin here, the AK-47, that's actually in the positive. The other ones, not so much, but they're starting to improve, which is noticeable. L96s, they don't tend to hold up their value very nicely. If this ends up with like 14 to 16,000 subscribers, alright, fair play, that's not too much, it's not a ridiculous amount, but we're still expecting it to drop off. After seeing the Abyss L96 last week, listed at $3, it also looked very nice, but it's already dropped down in price, lost a third of its value, wow, already down by $1 almost, so yeah, we're having doubts, I'm sorry to say. The skin itself, though, it does look very nice. Again, consider watching my rust rotation video to get a good look at all the skins. That Black Diamond L96 really does look nice, okay, so I think I said enough there. Let's now move on and talk about the Molten Visage bed, and I've already double checked this, right? So to my surprise, the best thing to compare to, because this only had 6,000 subscribers almost, the best thing to compare to is the Cyber bed from the previous week. Really? Yeah. I mean, I still think the Molten Visage bed will sell a little bit more compared to it, but it is the best thing to compare to, and that only did about 12,000 subscribers. So in regards to this bed, I kind of think it's only going to do between 11 to 13,000 subscribers. Now, hopping back over to here, it's just about reached 9,000, sorry, I lost my tongue there. 9,000 subscribers. It is part of a established collection, so if I could just quickly hover over to here and show this to you. Never even mentioned this in my rust rotation video, my predictions video. Good job, Hedge. But again, this doesn't look to be very in demand, does it? So, okay, fair enough. Anyway, so hopping back over to here with this bed. If you've seen this yourself, it does look very, very nice. This is an awesome looking glow-in-the-dark bed that I think a lot of people greatly appreciate. We'll see how it goes. But with a lack of sales, as I said, as time goes on, if people start to warm up to a certain skin that didn't sell that much, well, there's only so many to go around. And, well, what do you reckon happens next? Prices are expected to rise ever so easily and nicely, so we'll see how it goes. So, Molten Visage bed, keep an eye on this. I think that's only going to do between 11 to 13,000 subscribers. Now for the next two skins, Popstar M249 and Wild Hunt Wooden Door, let's switch back over to here. So initially, these two, well, that did about 5,500, this did about 5,300. Honestly, I think the best thing we could probably compare to is going to be the Night Demon Boots and Gloves, which had 5,000 and 5,500 subscribers. So, okay, cool, let's go switch ahead and go look at them. So that's from, what, October 16, there we go. This... Yep, the gloves reached about 12,760 and the boots reached about 11,400. Very similar in terms of the expectation and what we're going to think with... it's very close to the bed. With the current progression with the sales, I do get the feeling both of these are expected to sell just a little bit less compared to this. Popstar M249, Wild Hunt Wooden Door, I think you're going to do between... I think they're going to do between 11 to 12,000 subscribers. So still less than this, but just about. So Popstar Collection, as I just mentioned, the garage doors actually started to rise up a little bit, very nice. Thompson has improved, the AK-47 has improved, it's not down so bad. SAR has improved a little bit. With the arrival of the M249, the collection has started to progress quite a fair bit. And as we get closer and closer to January time, well, we'll see how things turn out, but things are looking pretty interesting, yes. So, M249, I did say, pretty much every single M249 that's been accepted, they've all gone down in price mostly. Like, that was the expectation. But could this one be different? Simply having an anime girl design, could it make a world of a difference? Well, if it doesn't sell that much either, I think that might also put it in a very interesting position. We'll see. Wild Hunt Wooden Door, well, I mean, it's a wooden door. We've already talked about this. Pretty much every single wooden door that's been accepted over the past few years has already gone down in price real bad, all down to less than $1. Not having the highest of hopes, but we are aware the skin creator does consider, well, he wants to make a collection continuation, he wants to make a deplorable set. I personally suggested he goes and makes a potential, like, Wendigo design for, like, a bearskin rug. I think a lot of people love that, we'll see. And I know he can pull it off because he did a very cool Halloween-style bearskin rug, but wasn't accepted, unfortunately. Keep an eye out, I'm sure we could see more, but with that being a wooden door, I'm sorry to say, I just can't help but assume it's going to drop in price. That is the expectation. I've seen some very cool looking wooden door skins being submitted in the past and accepted, and then they just drop off very quickly. People don't use wooden doors that much, so yeah, was a justification to own skins. Fort Thompson, so that's just sitting here, not really selling that much. A very nice looking design. Again, consider watching the rust rotation video to get a good look at this. So, yep, I will just kind of say it one final time. Everything here is chaptered, you can skip ahead, it's not too hard, you can get a good look at all the skins. Alright, come on, let's move on. So back over to here. The Fort Thompson only did just over 4,000 subscribers. What's a great thing to compare to? Well, I looked around, I made some considerations. I thought, I could look at Viridian M39, I could look at Nuke Vibe, SAR. I could look at, I could look at some other things like, there you go, Swirled Sword. Like, almost exactly the same amount of subscribers there. So, okay, let's go ahead and do that. I think it's October 16, and there you go, yeah. Just under 9,000 subscribers. And I could go to the previous week, so, no, it's actually the October 4 swipe, so yeah, this has had just over 10,000, really. Really? Maybe. I mean, I'll go back over to here, current Rust Door, I'm looking at the current sales. I don't think Fort Thompson's going to sell that much. I think 8,000 to 10,000 subscribers is probably the best bet with the Fort Thompson. Okay, seems about right, so we'll leave it at that. Brain Drain AK-47. You have quite a bit less sales in comparison. And if I could just quickly switch over to here. With the first 24 hours of sales, we see that this only had 3,649 subscribers. Not that much. If I were to compare to something, what would probably be a pretty smart bet? Well, what we have here is the Bones Fridge and the Senor Tomato Miner Hat. This has 3,566. This has 3,599, so basically 3,600. This is probably a smart thing to consider comparing to. So, okay, let's go ahead and do just that. So, let's go ahead and find that Rust Door. There you go. Yep. Just under 8,000 subscribers, So, okay. I think the Brain Drain AK-47 is going to probably do between 7 to 9,000 subscribers. With the current rate of sales there, with just about 5,400, yeah, it's fine. It's a perfectly fine looking design as well, but I just can't help but assume it's going to probably get lost in the shuffle like most AK-47s. The skins don't hold up, and it's a problem. We are expecting a collection continuation this weekend, though. Skin Creator did say he intends to make a SAR skin, so, well, we've got to keep an eye out for that. And then lastly, we have the Cargo Heli Roadsign Gloves and Boots. They really have not sold that much. Sheer lack of interest, I guess you could say. But remember, the only concern we had was, would it sell just as much as the Tier 2? I mean, if it sells less, that is going to be pretty interesting. And at first glance, it does look like that's going to happen. So, what's the best thing we can compare to? Let's first of all, let's go back over to here. Let's look at the sales. Wow, Roadsign Gloves only 3,000 subscribers, Boots 2,850. Wow, that's not next to nothing. I don't know if we have anything that we can actually compare to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to give you like the best suggestion, right? I honestly think Cargo Heli Boots and Gloves are going to probably only do between 6 to 7,000 subscribers. Yes, they're expected to sell less compared to the Tier 2. All the Tier 2 pieces sold, they sold like 9,500 subscribers. Yep, around that basically. The Boots and Gloves are expected to sell about 2 to 3,000 less. That is insane. But again, so many interesting things could have picked for clothing armour. I wanted a bit of a rant. Like, we had so many interesting clothing armour pieces being submitted over the past 3 weeks. We get Cargo Heli Boots and Gloves, and just that. And of course, the previous week we only got like a backpack. People weren't thrilled, people weren't happy, people were very dissatisfied, and again, not surprised to see these skins aren't selling that much. So, we'll see how it goes, but Cargo Heli Boots and Gloves, if we do see Cargo Heli Hoodie and Pants, or Tier 3, yes, we do anticipate that rising in price very, very nicely. Doesn't matter. If you see collection continuations for clothing armour, you will see the pre-existing skins spike in price. We've seen it happen many times in the past, so, alright, cool, that is what it is. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything that needed to be said. I hope I did this reasonably fast. Good job, Hedge, we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, let's just talk about some other things. So I'm sure many of you have done a very good job collecting all the brand new kick drops. All the streamers have been streaming 24/7. They don't really have any rules against just going to sleep and leaving Rust on. Kick seems to be very cool with that, and I'm sure you're very happy because it's been super easy to get all the skins. I've pretty much got every single one now, I believe, on this account at the very least. Yes, I do. So, alright, cool. Feel free to comment below. Once again, what's your most favourite kick drop? It very likely might just be the hazmat. Yep. I'd just like to point out, I have made a very interesting video right here. Rust hazmat skins, which is the best? We actually got like A/B testing on this. So I've got 3 different titles, 3 different thumbnails. Basically, the intention was, I'm going to go grab the brand new kick hazmat, and I'm going to go compare it with the Nomad hazmat and the Frontier hazmat. 2 $10 DLC designs. To be honest with you, those other hazmats, they do have some advantages. in comparison with this Kick Hazmat. And, the Kick Hazmat has some advantages compared to the other Hazmats right here. Namely, it's absolutely free. I've said it multiple times, do not miss out with this Kick Hazmat. You just need to make a dud account to set up a brand new Kick account. You don't have to commit, you don't have to constantly watch Kick streams afterwards. You can just do it just to get these skins and of course this Kick Hazmat, because this is just too good to be true. Do not miss out. This is very, very useful, especially in the jungle. And to prove it, consider watching this video. Lots of chapters, you can see where I'm testing it, what's going on and all that. About 25 minutes of your time. I'm sure you will enjoy it, so consider watching this video. And that's pretty much everything that needs to be said. I mean, by all means, if you want to get a good look at all the kick drops, I do have a very special video just over to here as well. There you go. November 2025 kick drops, a lovely showcase, showcasing how to sign up and get your accounts connected, and of course, getting a very good look at all the skins as well. Once again, also point out, lots of chapters. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So, I think that's pretty much everything that needs to be said. I even put out a nice little tweet pointing out, I've made a video showcasing the brand new Kick Hazmat, so cool. Once again, I do apologise in regards to how my voice sounds. It might be a bit echoey, maybe you've picked up a lot of sounds, maybe you heard like my mouse clicking and all that. I sincerely apologise. Obviously, I'm not at my actual home, so I hope you heard everything nicely, and I hope you understood everything. Here's hoping my mumbling wasn't so bad with this microphone. So, cool. That is everything that needs to be said. So, do you honestly think something here could potentially be a nice investment? Feel free to comment below. Which of these skins happen to be your most favourite skin? Also, feel free to comment below. That's basically a wrap from me. So, thank you very much. And have a lovely day. I will return to streaming this Wednesday when we do the abnormal barders. I will be back home in time to be able to do the Rust Workshop skin checks. And, just speaking about that, I should probably also point out, yes, if we could just quickly switch over to here. I'd like to point out on the workshop, we're now starting to see tactical gloves being submitted. So the very first ones were produced by Mr. Shedmon, hard suit tactical gloves. Then over to here, another collection continuation has appeared, Funerary Friend tactical gloves. And then over to here, a nice attempt for some white camouflage, Polar Combat Tactical Gloves produced by Micromorphous. So, all you're going to do is just keep an eye out over here. I mean, what I'll probably do is I'll grab the link so you can see all the tactical glove submissions, and something's got to be accepted. Could we see multiple tactical gloves being accepted for December Force Wipe Rust Door? We shall see. And just to get another little look as well, other skins have been submitted, like a Pilgrim Boonie Hat and Poncho. Wow, that's looking pretty interesting. Alright then, so that's pretty much a wrap. Thank you very much for watching the video, I greatly appreciate it. Best of luck to each and every single one of you. We're getting closer and closer now to Christmas, post-Christmas. It's literally just around the corner. And right now, you really should consider selling your Christmas skins. Maybe wait at least another 2 weeks, just as we're about to turn into December time. Alright, you get the idea, so catch you later. See you and goodbye.